Are you a new investor and you're just worried about getting involved in real estate because you hear all these stories and you just want to know really what is reality and what are myths? I'm Steve Rosenberg, and today we're going to break down the difference between a myth and a reality of being a real estate investor. First of all, we always hear the story whenever you may tell someone that you want to get involved in real estate, you're going to hear, you're going to be fixing toilets at 2 a.m. You're going to have tenants calling you all the time. Tenants are going to trash your property. You're not going to make any money. It's just a headache. Some of those are reality and some of those are myths. It all depends on what you do to set yourself up leading to being an investor. Tenants are not going to call you if you set up proper procedures with your rental property and you set expectations with your tenant. If you allow yourself to be called at 2 a.m. and you allow yourself to go over there and plunge a toilet at 2 a.m., absolutely, that's what you could do. If you set up policies, procedures, and structure, your reality will now become that you own a business. Understand that when you own a rental property, it's not just 4 walls and a roof. Let's face it, anybody can buy a deal and get a good deal on a rental property. If you want to own a property over time, it's managing the asset to give you the return that you want to get over time. The only way that happens is creating structure, policies, procedures, systems to make sure that you can get your money out day after day, week after week, year after year. That becomes your reality. And you see a lot of people that own one house on one side of the street and they are running themselves crazy into the ground, and you have another person on the other side of the street and he never even has any problems, and you wonder, why are they different? One is a myth that you don't want to go towards, one is the reality of someone who's set up the time. My point is, you want to make sure that you educate yourself. Here on Bigger Pockets, there is tons of free information to educate yourself on how to become a successful investor, and don't let the myths of the possible unknown scare you into not taking action, because there's a lot of reasons why you can talk yourself out of not getting involved in real estate. However, I think we all know that the pluses of owning real estate far outweigh the myths of things that normally never even happen. A lot of times I hear stories of all these things that could go wrong, and I'll ask an investor, how many times has that ever happened to you? And their answer is, well, it's never happened to me, but I heard that it could. So you're living the fear of what could happen and not taking action, as opposed to just taking action and putting systems in place and being proactive so that when that does happen, you can counteract it with a system, with a person, with a procedure so that it doesn't happen. And the other thing I want to say is, when you're a new investor, you have to be okay with making mistakes. Every single person that you talk to that has been successful will tell you that they made a mistake. They maybe got ripped off from a contractor. Maybe they put a bad tenant in. Maybe they did this. Maybe they purchased the property wrong. But what they have done that is different is they did not allow those mistakes to define their real estate investing business. They learned from them, they systemized them, and they made ways to not have it happen again. So one of the things that you want to do to ensure that you do not fall in the fear of myth and you make your own reality is create a goal of what it is that you want as a result of owning real estate. How do you want your life to look in maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years as a result of owning real estate, and make that your destination. Once you have your destination of where you want to go, now you create the strategy to get yourself there. And you're not running off of emotions, off of what ifs. You have a destination you want to go to, and now you have a strategy of the types of properties that you want to buy, and you create systems and structure. Now, if you don't have the time or the desire to create systems and structures, that's fine. Then you go ahead and outsource it to a management company or to something else, but you don't have to do it on the cuff. You don't have to do it on things that you don't know. Set up the systems, because that's really what you want to do. You don't want to buy real estate and have all these problems. Nobody gets involved in real estate to create these horror stories. Normally they do it because they're not prepared. They don't think about it. They jump in, they buy a deal, and then they want to think about the best way to set up the structure. I think that's backwards. I think what you need to do is you need to set up the systems and structure and team first, educate yourself, The deal is the last piece of the puzzle. Get the deal once you have everything else set up on the front end, and your life will be much, much easier. Trust me, I've done both ways, and it is not fun to just buy deals and figure it out how to make them work. In flying, it's called building the plane while it's in the air flying it. The chances of you getting it to work are slim to none. What I want to impart on you is the fact that your myth and your reality can be controlled by you.